Okay. Well, one of these two is going to be new releases. The other one is. I mean, I think this one's probably not the new releases, but it's being a piece of shit enough opening. But, it's just weird. So, first of all, the goal here is this is a Boin 1 and 2 collection, and I think this is finally from a different distributor than the person who's been distributing it before on Amazon, because I've gotten 2 copies of this, which actually, according to the DVD disc label, actually says it's the European version, even though everything here looks right. And this is probably the same thing. It's probably my last attempt, because the other thing that was kind of worrisome is that one was also region free, whereas volume 1 was not. And I guess I now have 2 copies of them, but whatever. That's a weird eccentric project on my part, but let's get to the real stuff for this week, which is new releases. Oh, but before we do that, I've got some other stuff to look at. We'll begin with Steven Universe. This is the complete season 1. I poked around and enjoyed revisiting some of the stuff. You may think we'll go into this next, but actually, I think we'll go more anime related, but not anime DVD related. And I got my 2018 calendar finally arrived. It took forever, and it's a Ghibli calendar, which basically has all of these various arts options to swap out. As you can see, I put Nausicaa in there because that's my favorite Ghibli title, and the way it works is you can see it inserts there, and this is just perforated, which is actually kind of neat because it means once this year is over, this can be reused as a art thingy majig. But yeah, I haven't decided what I'm going to do other than, because it arrived just yesterday, Nausicaa's staying in there for the remainder of this month and all of next month, and then I'll figure other stuff out. I mean, I'm tempted to just leave it in there because I like Nausicaa so much, but oh well. Now, as you can see here, we've got the Nekopara OVA, and it's not the only thing that came with it. Okay, well, let's put this down here first. We'll dig into that, but let's go over here first, because it came in that box there, but this box here had the plushies in it, and I haven't had a chance to watch the OVA like I wanted to, but I highly suspect this is supposed to be a replica of the box that Chocola and Vanilla, Chocola? Chocolate? Whatever, Chocolate and Vanilla were found in. And here's the plushies. You know, I wanted to kind of, give you that experience. It was really strange because, it took the calendars like a month and a half, maybe slightly longer to arrive here. But the same day they attempted to deliver it at my door, they also attempted to deliver the Nekopara stuff, which also came from Japan. And where am I putting my trash? I haven't. Oh, I guess they just taped. Sorry, I'm doing this off camera. It just doesn't feel like there's much space. As far as plushies go, they actually feel very plush. I think mostly because of the hair. Let's see, content-wise. Oh, look. It's actually very doll-like, which is good. I'm not hearing much ringing from the bell, but that's okay, I guess. They're actually just a good visual presentation. Whoa! Actually, these may be safe for work. I don't know if I will actually bring them to work, but I'll at least consider it. I also got a t-shirt, which I'm wearing right now, and you'll see at the end of this, and it came with a bunch of buttons. And I haven't gotten to see the vanilla one because I haven't opened this up yet, so let's open this. Oh, they're each in their own individual. So there's I Love Shigure, which I think may be a one-off because that's the sister, if I remember correctly, so she's not a cat girl, unless I just don't know my Nekopara. And we got Coconut, which is a Maine Coon, if I remember correctly. It's the only thing that I remember. I guess because Maine Coon sounds weird. Azuki. I don't know, is that a cat girl or not? Yeah, I guess she must be because... oh yes, of course, because Shizune, those are fake cat girls, and the Azuki is what red bean paste is made out of. A friend looked that up. We've got cinnamon. I'm wondering if I should look at... I don't think I'll put it back in if they all have their own individual wrappers. We've got maple. Now we've got the elusive vanilla one that's been hiding behind Chocola. And of course, Chocola, who is not coming out. Excellent. And now we get to finally start answering the question of what's in the limited edition, because it feels a little too heavy to just be a very boxed, a very big boxed disc or two. I mean, this is even too heavy to be like 10 discs. So there's probably a book in here of some sort. I don't remember. I just pledged. Oh, and I guess it's no fair to only look at the one side, because, well, this kind of opens up like this, and so Chocola is on the front. We do have vanilla also on the almost front. I guess she just kind of ends up in second place like that. Oh, look. We've got a list of... oh, I see. A list of backers who were left off of the art book due to a mistake on our part, due to an editing mistake. The names... okay, yeah, see, they missed a page with some H's and I's. So if you were an H or an I, unfortunately your name didn't make it in the art book. Sucks. You got an official piece of paper. Oh, this must be the art book. I guess we'll find out. So I'm kind of curious what's underneath the sleeve. It looks like it might be the same thing as the cover. Yeah, looks like the case, except this one has some stuff. So let's take a look. Just briefly. Oh, some of these are familiar. I think I downloaded one of these. They probably sent these to us. But we also have it in physical form, which I like. Oh, look. There's a lot of Kickstarter names. These don't... okay, I guess... do they start here? Well, I should probably poke around them and see if I can find my name in there, because I think I paid enough for my name to be in there. If I didn't, oh well. That's fine. The more important thing is I tried to do that. There's some weird stuff. Lots of names. What did I use for a name if I used the name? Wondering if I did Gigafrost or Gigafrosty, which I don't see it. Oh well, I'll have to play around with it some more. I guess that's... no, I don't want to break something. I'm going to put that to the side over here because we're going to have some special film frames. Oh, spoiler alert. Cool. And then this was up there. And what's that? Because this doesn't seem to be pulling anything else up. So this is to get the heavy book out of the way, and then this, well, there we go. Yeah, there we go. I can feel a little edge there. So I think these are a bunch of stickers, which is pretty cool, except I'm not going to ever take them off the sticker sheet because they're all pretty. Now, I think we finally have gotten into the meat of this. First, we have what looks like to be the Blu-ray. This looks very Blu-ray. No, I'd say that the quality of this feels light. It doesn't feel any different than the Aniplex releases. So it's at least as good as them. That's our imagery on the box without the cover. Then inside it's a lot. One of the nice things about this is there's a lot of imagery, a lot of very anime imagery. Kind of reminds me, I saw a friend playing Etrian Odyssey 4 or something like that. Now, there's a lot of repeated imagery, and that's for sure, but I think it's appreciated. But yeah, I was kind of noticing that all the characters maybe are girls, which is kind of, you know, very easy on the eyes if it's the thing you're into. I have to say, you know, it's nice seeing all these different variants of the same artwork, I guess. But there we go. Did I actually look at the bottom of this? I mean, I don't think it would look any different than a Blu-ray. And it felt like it was maybe not the thickest Blu-ray I've felt, but, you know, very Blu-ray feely. Was this like that? I guess that kind of makes sense. And then we got the Nekopara OVA original soundtrack, which I think I already have, which makes me think, oh geez, they're not wearing that much clothing, are they? Well, let's still see if we can get into it. It's been a long time since I've opened one of these, I think. Actually, I imported something, didn't I? Attack on Titan OST, maybe? Or did I get something since then? I don't know. The important thing is interesting. So we've got their eyes closed, their eyes opened. Interesting. I'm trying to think. It looks like, yeah, there's a little more to that, but it's not coming out. There we go. Don't want to break it. Well, that's, I think, the big highlight. I was hoping to have watched it by today, but had some computer disasters, and or more computer disasters if you've heard of the other computer disaster stuff I've dealt with. Oops, I think this went underneath this. Probably doesn't matter. Yeah, I guess it could just be right there. But then I go like this. Get the book back in, and that's the Nekopara OVA. Hopefully I'll watch it and I'll enjoy it. I do tend to put certain things off. So let's actually begin with this. Tanaka-kun is Always Listless. Now it actually looked like the Sentai Filmworks special edition version of this did come out at the same time as this, which is kind of rare. But I had already pre-ordered this, and I didn't want to make things weird and complicated for myself by, I guess, trying to get something, or, you know, cancel this and pre-order the limited edition version in the off chance that Amazon wasn't going to get its copies. Because I don't know this series well enough. It's interesting. I kind of want to watch it. But I guess before that, let's begin with the back. I was noticing there's an English dub. This one's region A, so no B sharing. What am I seeing there? It looks like a topless person. I can't really tell. Oh well. If we dig inside, we got... Well, I'm guessing Tanaka-kun, who seems pretty listless, and... I don't know... person? They look fun. We've got the same first and second image, so the DVD version has a unique disc 3 art. It's less listless than the others. I don't know. I'm very curious about this one. I don't know if I'll watch it next or not. And then last but not least, we have a Napping Princess, which, you know, kind of catches my attention because naps sound really good. I'm seeing an A there. I don't know what anything else on here even means. I see that there's a little animal thing that's also in the motorcycle, but I don't know what it means. Oh, actually it's her doll. Does it mean her doll comes alive, or that she imagines it's alive, or... I don't know. What does this have to do with napping? Ghost in the Shell, Gentleman Complex, and Eden of the East. The director of both of those. It's a film. I don't know what to make of what it's saying. All I know is we've got something that says DVD there, region 1, and something which says Blu-ray over here, region A, and a very backgroundy background. Interesting. Alright, this is this week's anime DVD collection update. I'm trying to remember what all I watched and did. Feels weird. All I know is, okay, so at minimum I did watch Ace Attorney Part 1. Is that the front? Yeah, I guess it is. Because the back kind of looks a little more frontish than normal. And, you know, it's okay. The game's definitely better. And I've not actually played the game. I've just watched YouTube playthroughs of the game. Oh, and the Nekopara Kickstarter shirt. Too bad it doesn't have any anime characters on it, but that's okay. I don't think it's as good as the game. I think the music in the game is better. And I like the character art style in the game slightly more than this one. But, you know, given its imperfections, I mean, its opening actually sounds more like the opening to Bomberman or something like that, as opposed to Ace Attorney. You know, so obviously they should probably have their music guy transfer the rights to that. But for this, you know, it works fine. Ending works fine. It follows the story of at least the first game. I don't know very well where the first game ended, but I'm pretty sure the first game was longer than what I've seen in this. I'm just not 100% certain. It just feels like, pacing-wise, it's probably, at least the first season, if there's more than one season, the first season seems to be the first game. I mean, it might be kind of cool if it's actually the first and the second game. I don't know how that could be. I don't remember what all happened in all of it. It's just, you know, it is. And there's some of the same amusing stuff from the game present in the anime, and the development of the cases and kind of the characters' realizations of stuff are kind of there. It's not 100% the same. Like, one big difference is, I don't remember when in the game, but at some point Phoenix Wright gets Mitama, I think that's what it's called. He gets that little 6 or 9 looking thing, and it allows him to kind of see when people are withholding information and how many things he has to do in order to unlock that information. So that's a gameplay element, and it's not necessarily strictly needed. You know, you could always just ask the right questions every single time and present the right evidence, or just have people, you know, just break down and talk about it. And they do that. They mimic some of the actions of characters in anime form. I think Haruhi Suzumiya probably mimicked the actions from the game a little more exact when it did it, which is, you know, kind of the point of that. Whereas this is supposed to be an anime version of the game, and it's kind of still doing small nods to that, but it's needing to do its own thing as well a little bit. Nothing too new, but I don't know. I feel like I'm babbling and wandering. It's kind of weird because I think I usually don't see the thing that an anime was adapted from before I've watched the anime, so it feels weird, man. Feels weird. But, you know, I would have kept going on to the second half because content-wise, Ace Attorney, or Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney is just kind of fun and has all these little things about it that are entertaining. I watched Typhoon Naruto. This is a short 26-minute thing, and it's kind of an interesting exploration in things that don't rate very highly. I think it rates a mid-6 on my anime list, which other things I've watched have completely disgusted me, and sometimes it's like, I don't know why this is rated as low, but this one, I can understand why it's rated as low, but it's not as bad as you might think it is based on that. And what I mean is, you might think that there's something revolting about it, when really the problem with it is it comes up with a lot of interesting elements, but it doesn't really mesh them together. And part of that could just be the length. Part of it could just be that even with the length, it was just going for, oh, this is neat, this is neat. Like, I guess one example of something you can probably guess just by watching it, well, no, I'm not going to say that. Overall, you know, it wasn't bad. It was just visually neat and neat elements, but they just didn't feel tied together properly because it was a little short. Or maybe it was because it was a little short. And I guess the other thing I watched was Attack on Cockroach, aka Terraformers, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to continue watching or not, but it kind of, I call it Attack on Cockroach because it feels like it is very either Attack on Titan inspired, or maybe it was modified to kind of have an Attack on Titan feel, or maybe it just unfortunately was something sort of like Attack on Titan that happened at the same time, but it has nothing to do with it. And any of those are possible, but I'm calling it Attack on Cockroach because, you know, that's kind of conceptually what you will compare it to when you watch it. And it's unfortunate because it's got a lot of problems to it. It's not necessarily horrible per se. Like, I kind of feel like it's got some of the distinctive bad elements of Naruto and Bleach in there. In particular, I've always thought of Naruto's major problem being that, especially the first series, Naruto, you might as well call it everybody but Naruto. And that's because even though it kind of establishes Naruto as the main character, it's like, well, we have all these interesting ideas, and so instead of, you know, exploring Naruto and how he grows in the world and experiencing what he learns through his point of view, we're instead going to spend this entire battle arc focusing very explicitly on characters and their backstory, and you spend half the series not doing anything Naruto related, the character related. And Terraformers feels kind of the same way. They establish a guy as your main guy, but like I'm on the 7th episode, or maybe I'm on the 8th. I think I'm on the 8th episode, first episode of the second disc, and it's spent more time talking about, oh well, this is the idea we had for this guy and his power, and it just kept going, and it set itself up to be distracted. And at the same time, the element from Bleach I kind of felt like it had is this inability to stay focused. Like Bleach, at least up to the point I had watched, whenever Bleach wanted to do filler, it will just do it whenever it felt like it wanted to do filler. It's like the guy could be in the middle of a swing in the battle, and then it goes to the surface world where the 3 doll things are on some sub-adventure or something, and oh, well, now he's fighting this other guy, but we're going to stop in the middle of that to have an entire another story arc that isn't even referenced or has nothing to do with it. You know, you can compare contrast Naruto, especially late Naruto, where, okay, they have a lot of flashbacks, but usually they have something happening in the present that ties to the flashback in order to do it. And I wouldn't say that makes those flashbacks entertaining per se, but you know, at least it ties together and doesn't feel like it just has attention deficit disorder and has to go from thing to thing to thing. So Terraform Mars has those. I don't know what to think about the design of the giant cockroaches, which is maybe a good thing. You know, it's kind of off-putting in some ways, and maybe it's good that it's unsettling because it kind of leads to self-reflection sort of stuff. But at the same time, see, it's hard when you compare it to Attack on Titan, because when you boil it down, Attack on Titan is actually really well designed, because the first episode starts with defining driving motivations for the main characters, and even though events change and things are derailed and stuff, it's still reminiscent of the underlying goals of the main characters, so it makes it easier to follow them and to kind of respect and feel like it's a narrative, which is, I guess, what feels a little missing from Terraform Mars. And at the same time, it really drives the point home of just how simple the idea of the Titans are, and it just drives home a lot more of the mystery of them, and this show is instead interested in making things complicated. So it's kind of interesting, because I probably would have been able to tolerate it more if I didn't watch Black Mirror the week before, but there's a part of me that's a little sensitive to things that are shock horror for the sake of shock, or shock for the sake of shock, I guess. And this seems to be pretty close to that, because it doesn't seem to be building up a lot of the underlying, oh yes, this is the person whose motivations we want to follow and we want to see them succeed. It's more simply, they're on Mars now and they have to survive the cockroach bear man onslaught, I guess. Except, you know, it kind of divides them into multiple groups, and you're not even like following one group here and there. You might do it for most of an episode, but it keeps mixing them together because it wants you to have an understanding of how they're all evolving, but we don't have an idea of what they're evolving to. The stakes have been stated, but they're a little more abstract, and I guess as another narrative problem, there is, they introduced this idea of, previously people used to have powers based on bugs, but now they can have powers based on any animal, but almost everybody has powers based on bugs. So it feels weird. It kind of makes you wonder, okay, so where's a person who gained the superpowers of humans? Does he grow 10 feet tall and have infinite stamina and have a brain that can cook things with his thoughts or something? It's weird. And I know it's a lot of complaining, but you have to understand that I'm coming from a place where you know, I just watched Black Mirror and I didn't like it, and some of the things I didn't like about that seem to be not too dissimilar in this, and at the same time it keeps going all over the place and being confusing. That said, I can't help but think there was something else. I don't know. I mean, like, I started watching the Disastrous Life of Psyche K, and he pointed out that psychic, and I never noticed that. And, you know, I watched 6 episodes with him, and it's, you know, going back to that, that's actually a pretty great show. I think if a certain friend ever comes back, I'd probably have to recommend it to him, because he really loved School Rumble. And I don't know that the overlap is exactly the same, but I don't know, I would throw that in his direction. This is all a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously, I'm rambling a little bit. My head hurts and all that stuff. It's hard when a computer stops booting. And in this case, I'm pretty sure I didn't lose any data like I did the previous time. But I don't have access to data, and it prevents me from working on side projects while I work on projects. So I don't know what it all means. I guess I should probably just end it there and wish y'all a nice week.